Hello everyone, welcome back to Tommy's Celtic Talk, where today we'll all be doing a Celtic video, but I just thought I would stick up one on this Chris EUBANK Jr. Nigel Benn's son Conor Benn in this main event tonight. Now, I've got very much invested in this one. Obviously it's a play on the names because of their two dads, Chris EUBANK Sr. and Nigel Benn in 1990, having a blockbuster of a fight where it was either round 9 or round 10. EUBANK stops Nigel, and we had a rematch in 1993, and Nigel took him to a decision, and it was a split decision draw. A lot of people thought Nigel Benn won that fight. I was essentially looking for a rematch on that one, where the draw looked like it went Nigel Benn's way on the split decision draw. So people had it as a 1-1 in their eyes, and it always looked like there was going to be a third one to sort of put that to bed, and it never came. Now, as for the two fighters here, Chris EUBANK Jr., a lot of people have him as the favourite for this fight. I mean, he's fought in a higher level, and he is bigger going into the fight than Conor Benn. But just something telling me that Conor Benn could shock a few heads here, and I'll tell you why. Chris EUBANK Jr., this big stage that they're saying he fought at, Billy Joe Saunders, James DeGale, George Groves. He beat DeGale, yeah, but he was way past his best. Way past his best. Then you have Billy Joe Saunders, who wrapped up the fight, but it was fairly close, fair enough. And George Groves, who people say it was a tight fight in that one. I watched the full fight. I don't know where they're coming from. Like, we all know George Groves is a speedy fighter. Watch Carl Froch, George Groves. He's as speedy as lightning, so he is. And that speed was too much for Chris EUBANK. I mean, Carl Froch, the speed was too much for him. He can say everything he wants, the speed was too much for him. George Groves was wrapping up the points. But the thing is, Carl Froch has power, and he has a great chin. Chris EUBANK had a good chin on the night as well, but he doesn't have power. He's not gonna fucking knock out George Groves, and that's what happened. He just flew ahead in points. So this big higher level, if I got in against Mike Tyson and got knocked out in the first round, the boy I was fighting, he was 13-0, but he never fought anybody, you know, at the highest level. Does that mean that I'm the favourite going in? So I think they're overhyping him in that aspect. Plus, he's 45 years of age. So, him at his best was arguably about 9-8 years ago. Conor Benn is 28 years of age, and I know the drug allegations people are saying his power's gone, because he got his power from injecting drugs into scrambled eggs and fucking eating them. But look, his last fight, he didn't knock out Dobson, but Dobson was he's a very cute fighter in the sense of he was sort of, you know, a more defensive fighter. And them sort of fighters are harder to knock out. That's one. But his speed, like, people are going on like, oh, like he'll be slow as molasses, you know, like, because he's going up the weights. His speed was crazy. And in round 7, round 8, he started to speed up, which tells me he's got stamina. Like, he can survive a long fight. People are saying like he's a wee knockout merchant. Basically, the Tyson sort of chat of first round, second round, third round, fourth round is sort of his time to knock somebody out. If not, he's gone. His last 2 or 3 fights, he's went the distance, and he's been going at speed every single round, all of them fights. That with the younger age. Now, if you're gaining weight and you're doing your training, now he's only gained he's at 156, I think he was at the weigh-in. And you have EUBANK at 160.5. But I seen EUBANK, if I can get a picture I'll put it up here, but he looked like a hunger striker, so he did. He looked nearly dead. He looked just upset, basically, just standing there. And you seen Conor Benn, he's bouncing about the place, because I think he was basically dying himself down to get to 147, but he looks a lot more clean at 156. He looks like that sort of his walk around weight. Well, maybe his walk around weight's about 165 or something, but like that tells you that fucking that'd be a lot more suited for him. EUBANK, he looks like I'm 6'1", and I'm like 200 and something, like 205, 210 or something. But if I was fighting, I'd be cutting right down to like 175 or something. You know what I mean? But your natural walk around bit, maybe like in goodish shape, is like 190. Well, Chris EUBANK to me looks like somebody who would suit being a 190, a 185. And he is literally starving himself to get down there to make this fight work. Now, apparently he was fined about 400,000 because he was half a fucking pound off. Which I think it's a bit fucking over the top considering how far he had to go down. But they're still going ahead with the fight. I was a bit scared when I seen that. Like, oh, they're going to put it off because, he's half a pound off. Do a few push-ups, he'll be grand, But no, I'm happy with Conor Benn's weight. And I do think that if I starved myself down, I'd be a lot more liable for a knockout, because you will naturally be weaker. You know what I mean? And because of that rehydration clause, he's not going to be able just to fucking pound food into him when he gets in. So I think he's going to be feeling weak, and that's not how you want to be going into this fight feeling. And because Conor Benn was 156, he can just fucking bash on the food, bash on the drinks all he wants. So he can be in, the best of spirits, best of shape going in to this first round. Alright, call it as, like, people think there's no chance of him winning on points, Conor Benn, and I do think it's more likely a knockout, but I can see Conor Benn knocking this wee bastard out for under 6 rounds. But people are saying if it goes past 6 rounds, EUBANK has it. And I'm like, but Conor Benn has speed late rounds. So he could definitely still, he's still in it points wise. Like, he isn't one of these fighters that's just, it's over if he doesn't knock you out. He's got speed, and he's got age on his side. So for me, I think he's going to shock a few people, and he needs it a lot more, Conor. I mean, he's not got to the top of the pinnacle level on the welterweight division. And EUBANK, he's done. He stepped up against Saunders, he stepped up against Groves, he's fell short. And, they're talking, oh, if he wins this Canelo next, payday. That's all he's concerned about. He knows he's not going to win that one. It's just about, get a payday and get knocked out. You know what I mean? That's his plan, which nobody wants to see. I wouldn't pay to see that fight. Conor Benn, with his dad's sort of bulldog-like approach of fights, I think at 28 there's a lot more room for him to do something. He's saying about going back down into the welter, but like if he does well, performs well here, I think he'd stay at like super welterweight level. You know what I mean? You go for that division, because you're naturally, as you're getting older, you sort of gain on fucking weight anyway. You always notice them, like older fighters, it's way too hard for them to stay in their flyweights and their lightweights welter, because you're just, you literally are cutting yourself that there's no body fat on you at all. So I think he naturally will go into a middleweight sort of fucking level, Conor Benn, as he gets to around EUBANK's age. So I think he's at the super welterweight sort of stage now, where I think he can get away about 150, can't you? But on the undercards, like there is actually great fights in the undercard as well for this one. That I'm liking the new way of boxing is they're making it a whole show. It isn't basically shite undercards and you're waiting all night on this main event. Now for the undercards, you've got Liam Smith fighting McKenna. Now McKenna, the Irishman, he's only a young lad. I think he's like 25, 26, but he looks younger. Like when I've seen him, 6'1" on Liam Smith's 5'9", and Liam Smith obviously knocked out EUBANK, but then he got his comeuppance on the next fight. Now something's telling me McKenna's going to do it. I think he's either 16, 17, no. He's got the height over him, he's got the youth over him, and he's more of a points fighter. He has a like 60%, 58% knockout rate, so he is a fighter who likes it. You know, he's well capable of going the distance. I don't think Liam Smith will be able to knock him out. I think Liam Smith, you know, he's sort of, you know, the old Liam Smith would definitely have done business on him. But I think it's just too old and too much fucking big fights, like sort of taking it out of your fights on him. And I think that his time is up. Basically, he's going to go down the ladder. So I think it's his time for McKenna to shine here. Then you have, I've written down, I've got Fatal Riley on points, and I put Lyndon Arthur on points. Now this one here, I know what you're thinking. Lyndon Arthur, he's a mad underdog. He got knocked out in the same. They've had 2 fights so far. Lyndon Arthur won the first one by a split decision, and then he lost by a knockout in the 4th round in the second fight. Now the 2 of them have similar records. They've went on a run of about 5-6 wins, both of them. But for me, I was like, it was more the odds. I was like, you're getting a 17-2 on Lyndon Arthur winning on points. Now he's not going to knock him out, but they're going off your boy. He knocked him out in the 4th round before, but they haven't really fought anybody fucking of massive significance since. Similar records, and it's basically a lucky few combinations gone down the 4th. But your boys proved he can beat him on points, Lyndon Arthur. So for me, I was like, that's definitely fucking worth it. You know what I mean? And I looked up the odds. If I went with the 5 days, if I went for a Ben KO, McKenna on points, Riley on points, and Arthur on points, you're getting 1,200 back from a fiver. So, so clearly it's people aren't expecting this. So they're not, but no, I can see it. But definitely, if I was going just fight for fight, you know, Lyndon Arthur is. It's obviously going to be a fucking, you know, the odds are like that for a reason. But we'll see on the night. I don't know. I think they've got them ones wrong. But no, for me, Conor Benn, he's going to do the business here, and he's going to go on. He just seems more keen than EUBANK. EUBANK's never seemed too keen, and I think he's trying to sort of clear his name off the back of this drug scandal, and he's seeing EUBANK as the blueprint to getting to that next stage. But we'll see tonight. Let me know in the comments how you think these fights are going to go, and thanks for watching.